Bedtime story, son, is prophetic. Encrypt the signals from the shadows of the garden. We dig where the dirt got secrets, no parting. Microphone alchemist, scriptures with a twist. Peep the frequency, seeds in the mist. We drop bars like plagues, revelations in the cadence. Broadcasting truth while they trapped in surveillance. Wisdom with a watchman's blade. Fourth watch style while your whole system fade. Blood moons, Nephilim, echoes in the pine. Sasquatch stomping through the fault lines of time. We ain't mainstream, we ancient stream. Cipher with the prophets, decode the dream. So if you tuned in, better guard your mind. It's broadcasting seeds and we breaking the design.
Some nights, the sky feels like a confession booth. You step outside to take out the trash or walk the dog. The neighborhood is quiet. The porch light hums. Somewhere, a train calls out like a lonesome animal. Then the air changes. Your chest tightens, as if the atmosphere got heavier by a few pounds. The dog pauses, and you look up. Something massive glides overhead, a triangle cut from ink and stitched to the sky with 3 steady lights and a dull red ember at its center. There's no sound, there's no wind, there's no vibration. It steals the stars as it passes. Your mind grabs for an explanation. Plane, blimp, drones in formation. Then the thing keeps sliding forward like a cathedral on rails, and you realize you're out of explanations. I'm Bennett Tanton, and this is Broadcasting Seeds. Tonight we are diving into the black triangles, the quiet kings of the night sky, the Belgian wave that would not shut up, the Phoenix craft that turned a city into a field of crane necks. The late night visits over cornfields, freeways, nuclear plants, and Air Force bases that do not officially host anything interesting. People all over the world report the same shape, the same impossible silence, the same feeling that something is watching us with a lot of patience. The official answers are familiar misidentification, training flares, atmospheric tricks. Sometimes that is true. Most of the time it feels like using a Band-Aid for a broken bone. On the other end, we get the whispers, TR-3B, exotic drives, black budgets that exist in the negative space of the Pentagon, patents that read like science fiction, engineers who talk about bending inertia and playing with gravity the way a street magician palms a coin. Here is how we're going to walk this road tonight. First, we will map the best sightings and what makes them different what makes them different from your average light in the sky. Then we'll open the filing cabinet and look at the patents, the programs, and the rumors that never die. Finally, we will talk about purpose. If these triangles are ours, why the theater of silence over civilian neighborhoods? If they're not ours, what does it mean that they move like sentinels and stare at the places where we store our deadliest toys? Air Force bases and nuclear weapons? If this episode plants a seed for you, help me grow the show. Like the episode, share it with someone who spends too much time looking up, and leave a review. That is how this podcast keeps its lights on and how we keep hunting stories that refuse to sit still. You ready to step into the dark and see what looks back? Let's go. Section 1. The night skies went silent. All right, let's start where it all got too loud to ignore. This is in Belgium in 1989. It's late November, and 2 police officers are patrolling near Eupen, a small town near the German border. The kind of night where the rain feels like smoke and the streetlights hang in fog. Then the radio chatter goes strange. People are calling in about a massive black triangular craft drifting over town. The officer spot it too. 3 white lights at each point and a red one pulsing in the center, moving slow enough that it looks impossible. They follow it for miles. The thing doesn't make a sound. It's got no rotor. It's got no jet wash, not even a whisper of air displacement. When it finally banks away, the officers call it in, thinking they'd stumbled onto some NATO test. But radar operators at an airbase nearby, I can't pronounce the Beauvais Air Base, catch it too. They scramble F-16s. The jets lock on for a moment. Then the aircraft moves from 150 miles an hour to 1,000 miles an hour in a second. No sonic boom, no heat signature, just gone. That wasn't one crazy night. It went on for months. Over 1,000 witnesses, police, pilots, military officials, normal folks who couldn't tell a Cessna from a UFO. The government had to hold press conferences. The best explanation they could muster? An unusual configuration of lights. What? Yeah, because a football-sized aircraft hovering over highways really screams Christmas decoration. Now, flash forward 8 years, Phoenix, Arizona, 1997. Most people know all about this. A clear desert night, thousands of people step outside around 8:30 p.m. and look up. And what they see is burned into UFO history. A V-shaped formation of lights gliding silently across the state. Some said it stretched a mile wide. Governor Fife Symington later admitted he saw it too, describing it as otherworldly. The Air Force claimed it was a flare drop from an A-10 training exercise. That's the official story. Wow. But flares don't stay in tight formation for 30 minutes. They don't move as one giant craft. And they sure as hell don't silently cruise over an entire metropolitan area. From the flat fields of Illinois to the back roads of Texas, the story doesn't change. Police dash cams catch glimpses. Farmers report the hum of power dying as it passes. Commercial pilots radio in shapes that block out the stars. Each time the pattern repeats. 3 white lights, a red or amber center, and a silence that feels deliberate. These aren't the erratic saucers or the darting tic-tacs that dominate UFO lore. The black triangles are patient. They are purposeful, like they're scanning, mapping, or even maybe guarding something. And if that sounds like science fiction, buckle up, because next we're going to talk about the theory that these shadows aren't aliens at all, but the Pentagon's worst kept secret. Section 2, the TR-3B and the secret machines. All right, let's walk past the velvet rope and into the hangar. The air smells like jet fuel and classified budgets. Somewhere, a fluorescent light flickers over a craft that officially doesn't exist. Enter the TR-3B Astra, the supposed crown jewel of America's black budget fleet. If UFOs are the campfire legends of the sky, the TR-3B is the ghost in our own machine. The story goes like this. Back in the late 80s, the Pentagon poured ungodly amounts of money into a project called Aurora. The goal? Develop an aircraft that could outfly, outmaneuver, and outhide anything else on Earth, or maybe off it. This was the Cold War's weird cousin born out of paranoia and physics. The TR-3B, insiders claim, is a triangular anti-gravity platform, a craft that uses a magnetoplasma torus to reduce its own mass by up to 89%. Translation? It bends the rules of inertia, slides through air like it's honey, and laughs at gravity, supposedly powered by a nuclear reactor the size of a basketball. Sounds wild, right? That's because it is. But here's the thing. The breadcrumbs are real. In the 1990s, patents began surfacing from aerospace engineers tied to Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, designs describing electrogravitic propulsion, plasma-based cloaking, and inertial mass reduction devices. If those words make your eyes glaze over, here's the layman's version. This isn't lift by wing or thrust by engine. It's manipulating space-time itself. One of the most infamous names tied to that world is Salvatore Pais, a Navy engineer whose 2016 patent describes exactly that. A craft capable of controlling movement through the quantum vacuum. His designs line up eerily well with what eyewitnesses have been describing for decades. Triangular hull, plasma sheath, near silent flight, and yes, it's an official, approved patent filed by the United States Navy. And now ask yourself, why would the Navy patent a sci-fi drive system unless someone somewhere thought it worked? Add to that the testimonies of alleged insiders, engineers who claimed projects like these were fueled by foreign technology acquisition programs. That's the light government code for we found it, we didn't build it. Think reverse engineering debris from crashes like Roswell, Aztec, or maybe more recent retrievals that never made the news. Even defense insiders like Boyd Bushman, a senior engineer at Lockheed Martin, hinted before his death that we were borrowing technology we didn't invent. His deathbed interview, a mix of genius and frank madness. But the details he described were from silent drives to zero-G maneuvering, line up comfortably well with black triangle reports. Here's where it gets strange. Pilots who have witnessed these crafts say they move like living things, turning, pivoting, and accelerating in ways that seem to ignore physics. One Air Force tech sergeant described watching one rise vertically, stop midair, rotate 180 degrees, and vanish without a noise or flame. He swore it was one of ours, but also said we weren't supposed to have that tech for about another 50 years. So what are we looking at? A top secret surveillance platform using technology that blurs the line between science and sorcery? Or an artifact reverse engineered from something that crash landed long before we were ready for it? If the TR-3B is real, and many believe it is, it represents more than just a ship. It's the bridge between human innovation and whatever lies beyond. But the bigger question isn't how it flies, it's why it's up there. And that's where we're headed next, into the shadows, where technology, symbolism, and ancient curiosity all meet. Section 3, Shadows, Silence, and the Sentinel's Purpose. All right, let's get something straight. Whether the black triangles belong to us or to someone else, they're not random. These things show up over strategic locations, military bases, power plants, missile silos, nuclear facilities, even places linked to cutting-edge research like Los Alamos, Sandia, Oak Ridge. They're not joyriding over Disneyland or tailgating UFO conventions in Roswell. Whatever they are, they've got a purpose. So now, some folks think they're recon platforms, surveillance machines that make spy satellites look like Polaroids. They don't need to buzz over Moscow to get data anymore. They can hover over Kansas, suck up signals, scan the ground, and vanish without ever showing up on radar. A perfect ghost. But then there's the other theory, the one that sounds less like DARPA and more like scripture, that the black triangles aren't ours at all. They're watchers, observers, custodians of something bigger than national security. See, the triangle isn't just a shape, it's a symbol that's haunted human history. In sacred geometry, it's the trinity: balance, creation, power. The pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the divine triad. It shows up freaking everywhere. Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Mayans, even Christian concepts of Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Ancient people called it the shape of heaven touching earth. So when people report these massive black triangles, silent, slow, watching, some believe they're not just advanced aircraft, but manifestations of that ancient symbol. Maybe we're seeing something that has been watching us for millennia, adapting to each age, wearing new skins. In the Bronze Age, they called them gods. In the 20th century, flying saucers. Now, stealth triangles. Same pattern, different language. There's another pattern too. Sightings increase after major global shifts. The nuclear age, space exploration, AI development. Each time humanity takes a leap forward, the triangles show up like cosmic hall monitors, making sure we don't blow up the lab. Maybe they're not hostile, just disappointing supervisors. One witness from the Phoenix Lights described something that stuck with me. He said it wasn't moving through the sky, it was moving with it. Like it belonged there. Like it belonged there. That's the kind of description you don't fake. It's poetic, unnerving, and maybe the truest thing said about the whole damn mystery. And that's what gets under your skin. Because whether it's alien, human, or something in between, these things behave like they have the right to be here. And we're the ones trespassing. So maybe the black triangles aren't just watching us. Maybe they're reminding us that we're not the top of the food chain, just the loudest animal in the zoo. If you've followed me this far into the dark, just stay with me a little longer. We're going to close this out where all good mysteries end, not with an answer, but a challenge. When you think about it, the sky's always been a mirror for our imagination. Every generation has looked up and seen its own reflection staring back. Gods, angels, flying discs, secret weapons, omens of the end. Maybe these black triangles are just the latest translation of the same message. We're not alone, and we never have been. Here's the truth that gnaws at me. If they're ours, It means humanity has mastered something we've kept hidden from ourselves. That somewhere out there, in a hangar buried under desert sand or mountain granite, we cracked the code on gravity and decided not to tell anyone. Imagine the world we could build with that kind of tech, clean energy, instant travel, and end to scarcity. But instead, we use it to hover over power plants and scare farmers. That's not innovation. That's fear management. And if they're not ours, then we've got company that's way too quiet for comfort. And maybe, and this is the wild part, maybe they're not even ships. Maybe they're probes. Maybe they're constructs or watchers that have been here so long they don't need to announce themselves. Maybe we're not interesting enough to conquer, just curious enough to monitor. Either way, when you're out driving some night and the stars blink out in a perfect triangle, don't panic. Just remember, the sky's been busy for a long time. Thanks for tuning in to Broadcasting Seeds. If tonight's story planted a thought in that curious mind of yours, let's water it. Like the episode, share it, and someone who still looks up, and leave a review. That's how the show grows and how we keep chasing these shadows together. Until next time, keep your lights dim, your camera ready, and your heart steady, because somewhere out there, a silent triangle is gliding through the dark, and maybe, just maybe, it's looking right back at you.
This is the silence before revelation. Yeah, black triangles cut through the static. Government ghosts, cinematic, erratic. They float like sermons on a dead zone night. Blueprints written in ultraviolet light. Classified tech in the hangar haze. Reverse engineered in the Cold War's grave. Tell me who decides what the people see. Who's the god of invisibility? They hover, they hum, they don't run. They stare down cities till the power's gone. They watch in silence. From the dark they raid. Whispers of violence inside our veins. Truth ain't science. It's a classified chain. They watch in silence and we bear the blame. And we bear the blame. 97 Phoenix heat, 1 mile wide and no heartbeat. Belgium saw the same black wing. 2 nations, 1 unseen king. We built gods in secret labs. Fed them circuits, fed them tabs. Now they float above the laws of man, and we clap our hands like it's all part of the plan. You think the stars belong to you? You think silence means peace? Every lie has a runway, and it's paved with disbelief. Legends in the system, projects off the books. Truth's not hidden, it's just buried when no one looks. They watch in silence. From the dark they raid.